This video is kind of sad, but it's very good in only one aspect. He agrees with me that no huge physical catastrophic global catastrophe type-esque thing might happen. I believe that too. I don't think any pole shift has anything to do with the current third millennium stage we're in. Yes, I do believe that we've put words into the Mayans. They never really did say the end of the world, like the world would explode. I agree with this totally. But if you really knew about the Maya, you would know about their emphasis on time and the evolution of consciousness with the use of hallucinogenic substances. In the beginning you say, there's a lot of 2012 theories, but they're all like snowflakes. No one is alike. I thought you did your homework. What about the Hopi prophecy that said it'll be the end of the ages? The other prophecies that say it'll be the time when we return to oneness. A lot of them are alike. And you didn't mention Terence McKenna. But if you knew about McKenna, you'd also understand how eerie 2012 is, because there was so many people who happen to not know shit about each other, and then they just agree on this one date. You said this is the sky at 2012, and there's like, you see no planetary alignment. You haven't done your homework. Alignment does not mean all in a straight line perfectly in one thing. A perfect alignment is a series of either squares, sextiles, trines, quintiles, injunctions. Those are alignments. What you're talking about is conjunctions. You need to get your vocabulary correct. And in astrology, it's actually seen as a negative thing when there's too many planets in one sign, because you're one-sided. And in 2012, there is a whole lot of positive planetary alignments, if you knew anything about astrology. I looked at the website and it said 1962, a whole lot of planets in one sign. And in 2000, there was a whole lot of alignments. Just because the planets are in a place doesn't mean the world will implode. And yes, I agree, once again, like Jenkins, that there won't be a pole shift. You said we were going to be further away from the Milky Way galaxy than when we were from the Mayans' times. It's not the length of distance away we are from the center, it's the fact that with a certain parallel alignment, telepathy is easier. It's not the fact that we're closer, yeah, but it's literally that we're more aligned with all the life in the Milky Way center, and our solar system's just catching up. And yes, of course, it's unique just for Earth. If you know about Jose Arguelles, he believes that every star system has the sacred long count calendar, and the beam exactly at 5,125 years, where that's the whole history of man, and at the end, the beam will have completed and we will have gained all of history. It's more of a psychological phenomenon, not a pole shift. And I know you don't agree at all with the negative physical Earth catastrophe connotations, but you didn't mention anything about the psychic stuff, which I know you don't care about, but you have to realize that the Mayans were obsessed with time. It wasn't just to kill time. They believed at the end of the calendar we will achieve the highest state of consciousness. You're right, they didn't say the world was going to explode. Exactly because I don't think we're going to die off during this consciousness enhancement at 2012. And I know you're not going to buy it, but I mean, you're into Christianity, so that means you're into theology, which means you're into spirituality, hopefully. Yes, and if the Mayans were told about Jupiter, why didn't the aliens tell them about Jupiter's moons or Saturn's rings? Because it's not that important as the fact that it's an actual planet out there. And I don't recall any text that said that the aliens said that the sun was a planet. Zachariah Sitchin, I believe, does throw some things out there. You need to read more of the Mayan prophecies by Cordero. Then Sitchin is he's a little dated. The Maya didn't want the end of 2012 to be on the winter solstice, specifically because of the visual effect of the alignment. No, they wanted that alignment to signify easier communication between the gods in the Milky Way center. The throne of the king was actually positioned on the solstice pyramid in which the Milky Way galaxy is aligning every year at the winter solstice. And the point is that the throne of the king was at the top of the Milky Way center. Like, he represented the channeler from the energies from the gods, which are the aliens, which, who knows. Western astronomers knew the precession of the equinoxes 100 years before the Maya. Did Western astronomers know about the Pleiades and position their pyramids in the same exact alignment as that constellation, which is where they believed the gods came from and gave them their knowledge? I don't know. But to say Western science knew about the equinox a century prior is just ridiculous. They knew about it a millennia prior. I mean, the Mayans have been around since 2000 BC. The Greeks, that's in the first millennium BCE. And I do believe that things don't get worse because of 2012. Things are going to get better. The point of 2012 in the Mayans is that we're supposed to achieve a higher state of consciousness and be better. Yeah, we have the A-bomb, but we also have telekinesis happening. The end of this long count calendar is supposed to be a culmination of all experiences. The Maya took time as always enhancing, and 2012, for some reason, we won't have to enhance anymore. So you say 25% of the Bible is all prophecies, and that most of them came true. If you're into that, why don't you recognize the Mayan prophecies? You know, in March of 1519, to the day, they predicted that Quetzalcoatl would return, or some huge change would happen. And as you know, hopefully Quetzalcoatl was depicted as either a feathered serpent, the planet Venus, or actually a white bearded man. It's kind of a mixture between the two. On that day, lo and behold, white bearded men came, Cortez, bearing the cross, which is what Quetzalcoatl taught them as the 4 cardinal points on a compass, and the Milky Way center as a cross, and then they use it as Christianity. There's many parallels to Christianity and Quetzalcoatl that I'll give you the links to on this sidebar, brah. So if you're going to thump the Bible, I'm going to thump the Popol Vuh. And the Book of Chilam Balam. I haven't finished them, but I already know that since their prophecies are accurate, we should be looking into their mythology as well. It was just kind of surprising because you were like full skeptic at first of all this weird stuff about the end of times, and then you talk about prophecy in the end. So I'm hoping that you study the Maya a little more instead of just like illustrating that their game is basketball. That whole basketball through the hoop thing signifies the sun going through the Milky Way center during the winter solstice of 2012. It is basketball. We just made the hoop instead of vertical, horizontal, and now it's basketball. And I just find it funny that I got to meet Akeem Olajuwon, who's Aquarius Rabbit like me. And the best basketball player is also an Aquarius Rabbit, Michael Jordan. Air sign.